The company was started long time ago when I was still with KPMG. So during that time, I got a lot of friends who are having complication and stress when they run business. And most of their challenge is they cannot hire an accountant. So as a result, they always only hire maybe a clerk or an exec. A lot of time they have a lot of issues with their finance, payment, sometimes the money gets lost, sometimes the accounts don't close in time, payment is not done in time. So that time when they wanted to hire me, then I was thinking, how are they going to pay me? Like if they were to hire me and I charge them 10,000 for SME, how can they afford me? So I went back and I think, and then one day I got this idea. This idea just popped up. If 5 of them combine, each one maybe pay me 3,000 a month, then I can serve 5 of them at one shot. I become like a HQ accountant to 5 of them. Then I can assemble a team to actually support them, and that's how Intune was formed. In terms of the company, our team structure is divided into sales and operation. So the sales is very simple. We serve our client by understanding their need, and then we provide them the solution. In terms of the operation, is divided into 2 segments currently. We have the finance, which take care of the day-to-day accounting for our client, from payment to preparing the financial statement. Another team that we have is doing the HR and payroll service to ensure that the day-to-day of the salary and remuneration, including compliance, are taken care of. As an accountant, as a service provider, we need to be able to sync along, tune into the processes of our client and customize. For example, maybe a manufacturing client will be very different from a trading client. So Intune means as a provider, we are tuning into their needs and requirements.
All right. Hey guys, have you done your 1 minute to 9 p.m. Hi Sathya. Hi Lily.
Hi Sharon.
Hi. Wow, you all wear black. Very nice. Black Monday.
Okay, got nothing to do with the bandera hitam, okay, Sharon?
Not wearing white.
Just coincidence,
okay.
just coincidence.
Just coincidence, Oh, you guys? It's EMCO now. Are you busy?
Busy at home. I'm glad that I'm still can, work from home. We are on cloud. So meeting new clients, yeah.
Fantastic.
I mean, for us, the legal firm, the acknowledges as essential about 2 weeks ago. So we have started the operation 2 weeks ago with the strict compliance of SOPs.
Wow. Yeah, we have to SOP because we have to bring down the numbers as fast as possible. So
basically, everyone's live. Whether they have taken a 2 dose of vaccine or not, basically everyone's life with just follow the SOP. I think then we can better the COVID-19 together.
Yes. Correct.
Okay, let's say hi to our
viewers
audience.
At home. Yeah, viewers at home, welcome to tonight's session. Tonight's session, I have myself. I'm a real estate negotiator from Whitfield Properties. My name is Sharon, and I have here with me 2 of my friends. Yeah, 2 of my friends. Say hi, everybody. Welcome to tonight's session. Tonight's session, I have myself. I'm a real estate.
Sharon, I think you need to off your phone. Yeah.
Hang on.
Okay.
At the volume.
Can.
Yeah. Else.
All right.
Okay. Phone volume. Yeah.
Everything okay? Done. Okay. 2 of my friends here. The first one is none other than accountant Lily. Lily is a chartered accountant with over 20 years experience. She co-founded Intune Outsourcing, a finance and HR outsourcing company for SMEs since 2007, based in Bandar Puteri, Puchong. Having worked with Ernst & Young and plus an Australian public listed company, she has both external and internal audit in her profile. Lily is passionate about numbers and supporting SME to make sure they grow. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lily.
Thank you.
Our second guest is none other than the tall, dark, and handsome litigation lawyer. He's a good friend of ours. He's Sathya. He's a litigation lawyer with 10 years of experience plus handle various types of litigation cases, including individuals and companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Sathya Sinapan.
Thank you, Sharon, for your introduction.
Thank you, Sharon, for inviting us on board of your evening chat show.
Really
Thank you
appreciate
so
Sharon
much.
for inviting us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So in times of these times, everybody is having hard times, especially employees as well as employers across the board, everyone across the board. And I understand that there's a Pemule program by the government. And Lily here is the perfect person to explain about the Pemule. So over to you, Lily.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Thank you. Yes, in the last 1.5 years since COVID started, the government has announced various programs, from Prihatin to Penjana, Pemerkasa, and just recently, government announced the Pemule package. So this Pemule package is aimed at helping the rakyat, the businesses, and also to alleviate the COVID cases in Malaysia. So I look at the deck. It is a 80 over pages deck of Pemule, all the different aids and all. So if I do 80 over pages, I think everybody here will go to sleep by then. So there are three key areas. There are three key areas. One, government talks about, what are the bantuan for the rakyat. The second one talks about what are the bantuan for the businesses. And the third one talks about, government's allocation for COVID. Yeah. So what I'm going to focus on today is for the businesses, because me as an accountant in Intune, we serve small medium enterprises. So when all these announcements happen, my phone will be very busy. My clients will ask me, hey, can I apply for this? Hey, can I apply for that? Am I eligible and all that? So I think I'm also taking this opportunity to share what I always share with my clients, with our friends here, with our Sharon's friends, our friends here online. Okay.
Thank you so much, Lily.
Thank you. Okay, let me see. With this, right, I would like to Sharon to help me put up the slides. Yeah, I prepared some slides, 15 pages, so that I don't bore you too much. Entitled Pemule. Yeah. So yeah, this is the slides. Okay. So in the second part of the Pemule, there is there is talking about supporting businesses. We know that all businesses are really suffering during this period of time because we simply cannot open, cannot do business, cannot cari makan, but there is still salaries and costs to pay. So while there are many areas in the support business to talk about, but I just want to talk about 4 areas tonight, just 4 areas. If the viewers want to know more, we can have other sessions to talk about that. So the 4 areas that I want to focus on tonight is number 1, wage subsidy. Number 2, the Penjana Kerjaya. Number 3 is the GKP, Gerak Khas Prihatin. And number 4 is the loan moratorium. I believe all these 4 topics are not new. These are not new initiatives. These are all extension of what government has already given in Prihatin, in Penjana, in Pemerkasa, etc., etc. So today let's look at what are the updates, what are the tambahan in these 4 areas that SME can tap on. Okay, let's go to wage subsidy first. So this wage subsidy, let me go to the details. Okay. So this is an extract from the SOCSO website on wage subsidy. Yeah. So it is the 4th one. Yeah, it is the 4th one, and we pay it to the majikan. Okay, I'm sure many will already be familiar. And then it's going to be for 2 + 2 months. So what does it mean by 2 + 2 months? 2 months for all sector. Yeah, 2 months for all sector, and then additional 2 months for those sectors in the negative list. Negative list means in the 3rd national recovery phase, then only they can open. So government is reopening the economy bit by bit. So the last businesses to open, example, maybe karaoke, spa, manicure, pedicure, those will be the last batch to reopen, the 3rd phase. So they get additional 2 months because they need to close longer. So what is the subsidy all about? Okay, The subsidy is about giving 600 ringgit for every staff that you have. Okay, limited to 500 per kerja. And in the past, this subsidy was given to employer only if your staff is less than 4,000 ringgit. Yeah, but this time they actually lifted the criteria. So I make a simple comparison here lah, for which subsidy 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, Permekasa Plus, and 4.0. So now we are at 4.0. So every 600 ringgit for staff, 2 plus 2. This is what is different from the rest. You see, in the previous ones, government is only giving you subsidy for the lower income staff, which is less than 4,000. But this time, doesn't matter. If you have a CEO that you are paying 20,000, you still be entitled to this 600 ringgit per staff. Yeah, and you can start to apply from 1st of August. So don't kanchiong yet, not open yet. Yeah, you can apply from 1st of August to 31st October. But there is one thing I'm keen to look out for, is whether they have this criteria or not. So when they first give out the PSU 1.0, everybody gets. Whether your business was worse off or better off because of COVID, you will also get. But in the PSU 2, 3, and the Permekasa Plus, they added a criteria. Only if your sales drop, that means you are badly affected or you are affected by COVID, your sales is affected by COVID, then they will give you this wage subsidy. So now we are still not clear yet. Okay, so we need to wait for the FAQ to be released by SOCSO before they allow us to open to see whether they actually continue this sales drop criteria. Okay, let me see. Okay, so that's about wage subsidy. Yeah, the next one is about penjana kerjaya. Again, it is not something new, but in the Pemule, what happened is that they relax the criteria for application. They relax it. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so penjana kerjaya means that they are encouraging company to hire. So if you hire a new staff, the companies will be given incentive. Yeah. So if you look at all this category, so employers will get incentive of between 4,000 ringgit to 6,000 ringgit for every new staff that they hire, depending on the age.
Wow, that is very encouraging.
Yes, correct. This is very necessary because we knew that because of COVID, many people lose their jobs.
Yeah. Yes. So 4,000 to 6,000 is the incentive, regardless of whatever what do you call that, job that, staff that you hire across the board?
Yes, it's across the board. Okay. Of course, in any subsidy that they give you, there will be terms and conditions. So you need to look at all the terms and conditions, which is a fine print. But the basic concept is this. If you are hiring new staff, you are actually helping out to reduce unemployment. And for that reason, government give you incentive. Yeah, you get the majikan get 4,000 to 6,000. So depending if you're hiring fresh grads, job leavers, or fresh grads or after SPM, then you get up to 4,008. If you're hiring those within 16 to 40 years old, the majikan get 4,000. And then if you're hiring them above 40 years old or kurang upaya, then majikan get 6,000. Okay, so other than the majikan get the incentive, there's another thing. The new hire staff will be given an allocation for training up to 7,000 ringgit. Very good. So they give you money to hire the staff, and then government also give you money so that the staff can attend training to reskill themselves, to upgrade themselves, to serve the company better. Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yes, it is fantastic.
7,000 to the company, regardless of numbers of staff?
No. Okay, let's say the company hire one new staff. So the company, let's say, get 4,000 ringgit. Yeah. So in addition, this new staff can attend trainings worth 7,000 ringgit.
Fantastic. Per staff, 7,000 trainings per staff. Fantastic.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes,
good news for the trainers as well.
Yes, I think, I think this is for reskilling purposes because it may not be a good fit, and then for the staff to work better, the training allocation is there.
Fantastic.
So, yes. That's really good. I hope that all employers actually take note of that. And if you're hiring a new staff, go and get this incentive and also go and get this training allocation so that your staff can go and, upgrade themselves. Of course, there are a lot of terms and conditions. Here are the terms and conditions. There's a minimum wage that the staff that you hire, the number of months of contracts, 6 months or 3 months or 6 months, depending on which category they fall into. And then there's a lot of small fine prints lah, like it must be registered with SOCSO. You must already started operation, the year before, etc. So this is Pemulih Penjana in a nutshell. So if you notice that this is already 3.0. 3.0 means, right, government have done it first round. Government have done it second round. This is the third round. So if you're hiring any staff between 15th of June onwards, the majikan can apply for this Penjana Kerjaya 3.0. There you can start applying from 15 July onwards for new staff that you hire from 15 June onwards. Yeah. So if you ask me, how do you go and apply for this money? First, the employer must register themselves in the Penjana website. Okay. And then secondly, you need to post a vacancy on the Penjana website. And number 3, the staff that you hire, you ask them to apply for the job on the website, on the Penjana website. And then going through a few other process, if you follow through, then the money will be remitted to you. Yeah, I think in my firm as well, we have also benefited from this. When I hired 2 account staff in August or September last year, I've also enjoyed this incentive and really hope to share this with all the business owners. Okay, guess I've covered this. So Penjana Kerjaya 2.0, yeah, actually just closed up to 7 July. That is for all the staff that you hire in the first half of 2021. Yeah, don't worry, 3.0 is opening soon, which is 15th of July in the next few days. So the third topic that I would like to touch on is the Gerak Khas Prihatin 4.0. Again, it's not new, it's 4.0 already. So basically, this is just a handout lah. Government is just giving you free money for very small businesses. So very small businesses that meet the criteria will get 500 in September and 500 in November. Okay, let's take a look at what is the detail. So like I said, this is already 4.0. So in 1.0, all the small business get 3,000. Tambahan means whatever you're getting, you get another 1,000. Then 3.0, those who new applicants get 1,005 over 2 periods. And this one, 4.0 is the new one, 500 plus 500. So let's look at what are the criteria. Number 1 is for micro SMEs. So if you haven't gotten this 8 before under the previous schemes, you haven't gotten before, then you can get this 500 plus 500. Yeah. And the annual turnover is less than 300,000. So if you work out a month, it's roughly 25,000 a month, which is about, very small traders who are actually making less than 1,000 a day. Yeah. Full-time staff less than 5, excluding the owner, and must be a Malaysian. So this is a one-time payment for very small micro businesses. Yeah.
Good. Very encouraging.
Yes. At least got something lah. At least got something. It's not a lot of money. At least got something. I believe that all businesses actually look forward to the economy being open so that they themselves can go and make the money. But in this kind of situation, if government give, go and apply lah.
Yes, must apply.
Yes, okay. So the last one is about the loan moratorium for 6 months. Yeah, loan moratorium for 6 months. So this is very similar to the loan moratorium that was announced in April last year. Very similar. That means if you have a car loan, if you have a house loan, if you have a business loan, you can apply to defer it for 6 months. That means 6 months, no need to pay. Yeah. So starting 7th of July. So I've actually checked it out in the websites of many different banks. They have already put up in their website a lot of information about how to apply, what are the terms and conditions, etc. So I think my advice would be for you to go and talk to your bank, because every bank is different. Whether it's a car loan, house loan, or business loan, the criteria is also different. But as an accountant, I always get this question. My client asks me, moratorium, should I defer or should I not defer? Should I take in or not? So before we answer the question to defer or not to defer, I think there are 4 things about this moratorium that you should be aware of. Number 1, it's not automatic. Yeah, you need to opt in. You need to choose. Yeah.
Alright.
Number 2 is not free. Yeah, there is no free lunch. So if you take up the moratorium, which means you don't need to pay for 6 months, there is interest that will apply.
Okay.
So Sharon, so the saying that there's no free lunch in the world is true also lah. Yeah, the bank
Yeah.
kan?
I've not taken up the moratorium. How about you, Sathya? Have you taken up the moratorium?
I think I'll take half lah.
Yeah.
Because if like what Lily said, if you don't apply the moratorium, either if you're able to pay, carry on pay. If no mistake, the half. No, because if you really are in a bad situation, then you have to take the no moratorium for 6 months, because your burden, if you take the 6 months gap, then you will be after the 7 month onwards, you see the burden already.
Yeah, exactly. Then you'll get a shock. For me, I'll try not to take out the moratorium. I'll try to continue to pay whatever I need to pay at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think this is a very personal decision. It's also a business decision.
Exactly.
Yes. So remember, it's not free. You need to pay more if you take up the moratorium. But one thing that the government or Tengku Zafrul, our finance minister, said is that there's no compounding interest lah. That means no compounding interest. There's no interest on interest. Only interest. Okay, that's fair lah. Huh? Only interest. There's no interest on interest. Else it become too expensive to take up the moratorium. So number 4, we must remember, is pay now or you pay later with interest. Yeah. So what should SMEs consider when they actually decide to take up the loan moratorium or not? So it is a question between cash flow versus interest costs. Yeah. Like Sharon said, if you got the money sitting in the bank account or sitting in the FD and earning only 1%, you might as well take out an FD and pay the loan. Yeah. So if you have the cash flow, do pay. Else your interest cost is generally going to be higher than the FD rate that you actually save. Yeah. But if you really got no cash flow, then make that conscious decision to, okay, I'm going to defer. But do it responsibly by talking to your bankers, find out how much more interest, how long is it going to be extended. Yeah. And then talk to your bank and make a wise decision. So whether this interest cost is going to be like so much that I might as well, find other ways to find the money to pay this loan. So my advice to you is talk to the bank, look at the pros and cons, look at how much more interest you're going to pay, and then decide from there whether you want to pay now or pay later with interest. So I think it's extremely important to plan cash flow at this point in time. So
yes,
it
is.
Yeah, correct. I think cash is king. While we may want to save on the interest, but if we really cannot tahan the cash flow, just take it and then make it up later in the years. Yeah. So I think this is about. Let me see. Okay, so the summary is these are the 4 key areas that I have selected to cover. Definitely, it's not all of it, which is the wage subsidy, the hiring incentives, the GKP, the one-time handout, and the moratorium of 6 months. I hope some of the SMEs here, people who are doing business, can get a clearer idea of these 4 areas of the PERMULE. And that is all, Sharon, my slides and my sharing tonight. Back to you, Sharon.
Thank you so much, Lily. Thank you so much. At least now I have a clearer picture of what the incentives that have been given out by the government. So I believe as Malaysians, employers or income earners, we are aware of how we can benefit from this incentive right now. Thank you so much. It has helped me a lot. I hope that it has helped the audience more. Talk to your accountant, or you can talk to Lily Yong so she can tell you more. Next up, Sathya, what do you think? What do you think what do you say? What do you think of the current situation right now? How can you help?
From the current situation, is considered very bad. I mean, we can say throughout the world, and certain part of the world, they are recovering, and they were recovering and back to, because because COVID-19 is coming in the different variants. They're attacking different variants. They're coming like 1, 2, 3, like many angles. So the only thing is that from this, a lot of employer and employee have affected because of this pandemic. Because this pandemic have taken a toll on many people, especially I would say, doesn't matter employer or employee, but the employer will be slightly burdened because they have been start losing the businesses because of the virus and pandemic. While employee, they start losing their rice bowl. Which employer also have a rice bowl, but employee is relying on the job given by the employer. So they start losing their rice bowls. So today's topic, I'm just going to cover a very brief one. It's basically like employer versus employee. In this current situation, what they can do to help each other. Because recently, because of this, due to this pandemic, we can see that a lot of employers have either they trimmed down their business because due to the pandemic, or they have closed shop or closed business, or they have merged with someone. While for employee, either they're still there, or you take a pay cut, or you lose your job. But the worst is to lose the job, and further than that, the worst scenario is that you've been terminated by the bosses. Which employer? Because sometimes the employer have no choice because their cash flow has been stuck. But due to the formula, maybe to some extent the formula and the funds that given by the government to some extent might get help all these people. In this situation, usually when an employee has been appointed, they will have an employment contract. The employment contract will be said that you either have started a probation 6 months, after that you've been hired for this particular X job, this X position, and your pay is this. And if they have been promoted, they'll be given a promotion letter, and the terms and conditions will be used. But in current situation, that contract is really a bit. It's a dangerous position for both parties, because if the employer decided to terminate before their contract ends, it could be a clause that say that it's known as constructive dismissal, and in a legal term, because they have been fired or terminated while the contract is still the employment contract is still active, unless the parties been mutually agreed. In a normal scenario where they have agreed, then the mutually agreed, that will be where mutually the parties have agreed for the terms and conditions, where they might have given a notice of 3 months, either one, and they might leave, or they might 2 months with 1 month salary if they want. These are standard, but it depends all purely on the contract terms and conditions between the employer and employee. But in usual situation, if they've been terminated while they're still active working, then the employee can refer to the industrial court for constructive dismissal, and they have to get a lawyer to defend, and because they're bringing action against the employer, because they might for balanced salary to be claimed. But this in current situation is a bit tough because everyone tried to save money, because no one knows what's going on and how long this pandemic will take a toll on people. So my advice is that to save both employer and employee, there's a few ways which both parties can look into it. For example, reviewing the employment contract. For example, I can say reviewing back, maybe employee also and employee is like win-win situation, because at the moment you lose a job, you want to gain back, it's very tough because the world is as such at the moment. So parties can go review back the contract and say that maybe the salary can be negotiable, maybe they can reduce the salary, or the working days can be reduced, or some terms can be amended. example, salary can be reduced, the working days, and how they want to work it out, or maybe they can work for the existing contract will be cut short to few months. But this can be done with, but you no need to touch the existing contract. The existing employment contract will be there. So they just do a supplemental contract to override the certain clauses. So in this situation, with as my friend Miss Lily have informed the people and introduced the formulae in details. With that, they can use with this current amendment, and they can use the formulae to balance up both parties. The situation, it's like if one say no, one say yes, it must give and take. Then I say give and take, then you can get a win-win situation. And could be a lot of if they are looking for VSS, which is voluntary separation scheme, whereby usually the company will give like a few months salary, and there'll be and ask them to just to stop working from their position. It usually happens very rampant in but VSS been coming in a lot in nowadays situation, because the companies are unable to pay that. So either they might take some agreeable VSS, X amount for a few months of their salary or what, then they go off and they start look for a new job. That means there is no they can go for mutual separation scheme as well, which are almost the same. Mutual means both of them agree. VSS also almost both agree. If this happens, the employment contract won't take in it. So the clauses and terms of the employment contract will take effect because both parties have agreed. And especially, I think we are reading a lot. There's a retrenchment, terminate. Yeah, we agree, because of the issue is that over here, because many people, the ego of both parties have to put aside at the current situation, because the employee and employer, both of you are facing a difficult time. We agree. So the best, I think, from my side, would just give my point of view. Sit down and discuss how to go about it. If there's things can be done by sitting down both parties and look into it, the avenues to help each another, and with the formulae, they can make use the formulae thing to support. The employee can look into the formulae to support some income, general income. At the same time, the employees also must be a give and take situation as well, because if they know I was earning just say for example 6,000, no, you must pay me 6,000. That's going to be a very difficult situation for some employers. So some employers, so maybe they say, okay, maybe you work for 2 days or 3 days, maybe I'll pay you about 2,000 or 2,005. Then these things can be sit down and talk, and they can not amend with some clauses like I informed earlier. They can look into the clauses of the employment contract terms and condition, and we do a supplemental to cover the thing at the moment, because the current situation is such. Other than that, because if you want to go to industrial court because you're they have, like I just said, you have terminated them because of constructive dismissal, because then they bring it to the court. It's going to be a very trouble for both parties.
Yep.
So
time consuming and monetary factor also.
Yeah, and plus I think everyone's trying to
inconvenience. Yeah.
Correct. It's also very energy draining. It drains the energy from focusing on productive things. Yeah.
Exactly. Focus on moving ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Correct.
And plus, because you must look into other situation. End of the day, everyone is human being. They have a family to feed. They got all the liabilities to be paid. These liabilities only can be waived for a certain period. They can't be waived for like 2 years or 3 years. So they have to look into all the situation, because now it's like I'll help you, you help me. It's situation as such. So they have to work. and by reviewing the contract, employment contract, or some terms and condition, not or all this can be looked into account. Then I think it's up to the, of course, a certain, maybe a certain part, maybe they can work out with other companies, for example, where they can work it out. Like just say, just one of the example. Okay, I have just say there's a HR who working company A, but company B need to reduce the workers, and company B A also reducing. So company A and company B, they can discuss and work it out. Okay, this particular person work a few days, about 3 days a week, first week in company A, and 2 days in company B, and the subsequent maybe 3 days in company B. So things can be sit down and negotiate and settle. And the salary could be reduced and be split together. Just say 6,000, reduced to 4,000. They can reduce for 2,000, 2,000. Because we have seen. Sorry, Lily, go ahead.
Yeah, Sathya, I have a question. So if the employers want to do that, for example, reduce the work day or negotiated for a partial salary and all that, can they do it on their own without risking being taken to the industrial court or the labor office by the staff? Can they do it on their own, or do they need a lawyer to actually help them in the process?
You see, it's up to them. If they have their company lawyer or they need a lawyer to review the contract, because these clauses need to be amended. Or the company also can do, if both parties are agreed, then they can amend. They might have their legal team, in-house legal team, or can appoint a lawyer, or the HR can do, because the terms to be changed. And so they put a thing to supersede on this particular clause. Other clauses might be remain. Lily. So it can be done in many ways, Lily.
Okay.
Sure. Do you have a lot of cases like this lately?
Yes, they call and ask all these things. Because, but of course, engaging a lawyer is you have to still have payers. For work what we have done, but we can give them briefly. We'll tell them you can do as such way. You see, the things is there. What I'm sharing to share, things can be controlled or can be rectified. It's not by retrenching or so on. As long both parties have sit down and can talk, come to a conclusion. Maybe Lily, I want to ask you. Just say the two companies have agreed. Okay, I'm working with company A for 2 days and company B for 3 days a week. So you take that. So who will be paying the EPF and SOCSO?
Oh, okay, depending. Okay, so if this is a suggestion from me, so if the staff originally is in, let's say the staff originally, let's say is in company A, so let's not go through all the trouble to go and change, because I believe this is going to be a temporary measure. So company A can still continue to do all the EPF payment, etc. Then you talk to company B. Company B can reimburse company A. It can be done that way.
It can be done.
Can be done. No point both sides contributing, because like I say, I believe that this is a temporary arrangement only.
Yes, I hope the temporary, whatever we are facing, this will pass very soon.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So because, thank you, Lily. Because I just wondering how it works.
Yeah, can be done. Just one company pay, then the other company reimburse company A. Yeah, can be done that way.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you, Sharon?
Sharon. Okay, I'm done my side because
Thank you so much, Sathya.
How's the property market?
How's
property?
Yes,
property at the moment right now. I'm sure that if you're driving around, one person to a car, not 2 person to a car, if you drive around your neighborhood, past the commercial areas, you will notice there's a lot of for rent to lease signboards all over the place. So it is, as you said, that some businesses will fail. So what will happen? The tenants will move out. even though they have put in a lot of money into renovation, 100,000, 50,000, 200,000 into renovation, they will need, when they need to close shop, means they need to close shop. And if the clause in the tenancy agreement states that they have to reinstate the property to its original, then they will have to fork out another lump sum of money to reinstate the property to its original condition and give it back to the landlord. Sometimes landlord will ask me, what if the tenancy agreement states that the landlord and the tenancy enter into agreement of 2 years instead of 1 year? And the tenant all of a sudden say 6 months, they want to leave. Because there's no business. What if, let's say, they are in entertainment line? Entertainment, there's no entertainment. Pub, all that are closed. So with the pandemic, it's obvious that no one is going to visit the pub. So they need to close shop. So they cannot meet the 2 years tenancy with the landlord. As per the normal tenancy agreement, usually if either one party, whether it's the tenant or the landlord, did not fulfill the full-term tenancy, in this case, in this scenario, whereby the tenant said, after 6 months, you tell the landlord, sorry, there's no business, I need to close shop. In most cases, the landlord has the liberty to take back the remaining of the unfulfilled months from the tenant, rightfully. But in this case, there's no money. The tenant has no money. How is he going to fulfill and cough up the balance of the 24 minus 6 is 18. The landlord, if he has the money, he will go on operation. So no matter what, even though the landlord will have argued to dire needs, can argue with a lawyer, can argue to anybody, say, I want back my money from the unfulfilled tenancy. But being a person with a heart, I would say that it is okay lah. When they ask me, I would advise the landlord, it is okay lah. Just let the tenant go. Perhaps forfeit the security deposit, forfeit all the deposits that is held by the landlord, take back your property, look for a new tenant. No point arguing. Just like just now Sathya was mentioning about mutual agreement, no point dragging it to industrial court for not meeting the terms of conditional employment. So in this case, landlord and tenant, the tenant did not fulfill the tenancy agreement criteria. There's no point in arguing. So just let the tenant go, take back the property and move on. Look for another tenant. Because at the end of the day, if the tenant cannot fulfill, the most important thing for me, I would advise, take back the property. Make sure the tenant give back the property to you in good condition. That is worth more, the property value is worth more than the rental income. So that's basically my take for what is happening right now. Because personally, there are not only tenants who are not fulfilling tenancy agreement for commercial properties, for residences as well. A lot of them, they might want to, initially they might take up a 3-bedroom room, and right now they might not be able to fulfill the rental for 3-bedroom room. They might opt for 1-bedroom room. So in this case, same thing apply. If the landlord is okay with it, make sure that the tenant give back the landlord the property in good condition and just move on. Move on with out for new tenant. There will always be tenants looking up to rent a property. The most important thing as a landlord, just clean up the property nicely. Right now that during MCO, property does not fall under essential item, perhaps the landlord can do a favor by taking shots. Everybody knows how to take shots with your handphone right now. So take nice photos, do up a video, and just send it to the property agent and let the property agent market the property. That will work very fast and very quickly. Because there will always be tenants who want to look up for a property in the shortest time frame. So if the landlord can do this part, then everything will work out very fast. So it's a win-win situation. So it's like what we're having right now, kita jaga kita. We want to help everyone. So if we are thinking of helping those in need about, the white flag and all that, so we think about our tenants. If let's say the landlord has a tenant, so they are in dire need, we protect their interests, we part ways in good faith, they will remember you as a good landlord. One day, who knows? path may meet, and he may come back to you as a landlord, as a tenant, or perhaps as a potential buyer, or perhaps business associates. So that's my take for the pandemic right now. Don't be hasty. Just hold on to it, and everything will work out fine. These two shall pass very fast.
So just to additional to what I said, thank you, Sharon, for your input.
Yeah.
To additional to what I said yesterday. I mean, just now. You see, if the matters are very serious, then either party can refer the thing to industrial court. If there's a breach of contract or there's a just say poor performance, I mean, things they can proceed to industrial court further, or labor court or industrial court. So it depends on case to case basis. But just my point of view, advice at this juncture, parties just sit down and can be sorted out. It's a win-win situation for both of them. That's it. Thank you, Sharon. I'm done.
Thank you,
Most
Sharon.
welcome.
Thank you.
Most
Very insightful, and also, Chinese, they say 好嚟好去. Yeah. We know people are breaking their contract on bad intention. It's just that people just can't fulfill it. So 好嚟好去 in Chinese means, let's leave each other better off. Yeah. Good one.
Yeah.
Good one. Okay.
Yeah. So it's been an absolute pleasure to have Sathya and Lily over here tonight, because in our busy times we wouldn't be meeting up over Yum Cha or anything to talk about. In this purpose, the FB Live, I've learned a lot tonight from both of you. Thank you so much. So I'm sure the audience benefit a lot from Sathya, Lily, and my sharing as well. And any last words, Lily and Sathya, to the audience?
I think if I were to say as an accountant, it's take care of our cash flow, take care of our mental health, and then stay tight. Things will be better. Yeah, things will be better. Do our part to get everyone, vaccinated, and these things will be better.
Vaccinated.
I mean, from my side, like Lily said, make sure now finance is the most important for each individuals, every individuals. It could be a company. I mean, it applies for companies, individuals, every single thing. But end of the day, the finance been controlled by an individual. It's not a robot. So, like Lily said, everyone take care of their finance. Especially, the most important is their health. You can lose the money and you can make the money later. But once you lose your health, you might lose yourself forever in the world. So at the moment, make sure follow the SOPs, get vaccinated, and only things that I would able to say, kita jaga kita. So that's it. Thank you very much, Sharon, for inviting me. Thank you, Lily, for your insight.
Yeah, I would like to thank Sharon.
So much.
Yeah, organizing this. Yeah. And Sathya, for your sharing as well. It's been very insightful that I can share with my clients.
Sure, Lily. Really appreciate it. Even your information, especially Pemule. So because I think many people who are not aware what's Pemule, because there's so many slides and they don't know how to go about. So I think with your brief introduction, they at least they know how to do it in a way and they understand. It's very insightful.
All right. Thank you, viewers. Thank you
It's really good. Thank you, Sathya, and thank you to the viewers. Stay safe.
Thank you,
get your
viewers.
vaccine, and this too shall pass. Goodbye.
Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye.